Hello and welcome to the webinar, Impact of E-Invoicing Regulation on Invoice Processing, presented by Newgen Software Technologies Limited, a global software vendor with products and solutions in the space of process automation, content services, and customer engagement. As part of Government of India's directive, e-invoicing is mandated for organizations with a turnover of 500 crore. The directive is now being extended to organizations with over 100 crores. Today, we will discuss the complete e-invoicing mandate and its impact on you. Furthermore, we can also learn that how you can manage various type of invoices on a single unified platform. I am Ruchika Srivastav and shall be your host and the coordinator of this webinar today. Our today's presenter is Mr. Gopi Gridhar VS, who is an active consultant in the field of shared services, BPO, and enterprise transformation. He shall be taking us through the prep that you should do for the e-invoicing mandate and give live demos of Newgen invoicing processing solutions and solution for invoice generation with registration portal. At the end of his presentation and demos, we will be having question and answer session. I request you to type your questions in the GoToWebinar question window anytime during the webinar. I will take them up at the end of the session with our expert. Now it's over to you, Gopi.
Yeah, thank you, Ruchika, for that introduction. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So let us start. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Newgen, I thank you for joining us again for this webinar. Despite your busy schedules, we definitely appreciate your presence. So as Ruchika already said, you must all be aware that the invoicing mandate has gone live last year, October 1st, for companies with the revenue over 500 crores, and from January it was extended to companies with 100 crore plus revenue. But some industries are still exempted, like banking, insurance, NBFCs, transport companies, companies operating just out of SEZs, and multiplex cinema companies has been exempted for now. So today I will walk you through Newgen's approach and offering towards handling incoming invoices, that is to the invoice you receive and process, and generating outbound invoices which you send to your buyers. So let us begin. So the agenda will be as follows. So I'll start with a small overview of Newgen and what we do, what we offer to the offer to our buyers. Brush up on the invoicing mandate, the whole flow, what it means to seller and buyer, and also give an explanation of our solution and a demo. And we'll of course finish with question and answer. So please do post your questions onto the chat window. So let's start. So Newgen today. So we have been in the market for around 28 plus years, and we are are global solution providers in the space of business process management, that is BPM, enterprise content management or ECM, and customer communication management CCM solutions. So we are one of the top patent filing companies in India with over 40 plus patents filed, and out of which 10 plus have been already awarded to us. We have a global customer base of 1,300 plus across 68 plus countries. We offer solutions across various verticals like shared services, insurance, banking, automotive industry, healthcare, government, and 21 other industries as well. So we are into three main platforms which help organizations in their digital transformation journey. So starting with the ECM, the ECM side, we have our OmniDocs solution, which is the enterprise document management solution used for storing, managing organizational digital content. We have the BPM side, where we have the OmniFlow IBPS, which is a low-code workflow-based platform where complex business processes are handled, designed with business logic rules, and can also be monitored actively in real time with dashboards. In the CCM, or the customer communication management, we have the OmniOMS or Omni Output Management System, which provides solution channels for creating personalized customer communication mediums. And we also have NEMF or Newgen Enterprise Mobility Framework, which allows organizations to develop, deploy, manage highly configurable hybrid mobile applications supporting multiple platforms. So a little bit about a financial background as well. We are a publicly listed company in India, and we have over 270 plus partner network around the globe in all the 60 plus countries, which with whom we work to implement our solutions and etc. We have an employee base of 3,000 plus, out of which 200 plus are actively dedicated to research and development. Moving to the next slide. So talking about analyst recognition, we are one of the only vendors to be featured in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for Intelligent Business Process Management Suite, Enterprise Content Management, and also the CCM suite. Recently, even Gartner has named us visionary in the 2020 Content Service Management Platform for our ECM offerings, and again for the business BPM offerings, we have been named as a niche player in 2020 in the low code automation quadrant, and in 2016 we were a challenger, right? And for the CCM, again Gartner has named as a niche player in as of 2017, and we are also been recognized by Forrester and a couple of other market leaders as well. So talking about our presence around the globe, we are present in 7+ countries. Our headquarters is based in New Delhi. We have development subsidiary all over India, in Chennai, Mumbai, and Delhi as well. And one point to note is almost all of the solutions that we have, which are going to present we sell, are all homegrown from the ground up. Right. This is a snap of some of our most esteemed clients that we have worked with, helping in them then their digital transformation. You can see Citibank, Bank of America, some big names are present here, ICICI Bank, etc. So now I have given a background. Now let me talk about what we offer. So this is a snap of our platform suite. So Newgen's framework is divided based on the functional modules. By functional modules, I mean digitize, process, adapt, and engage, as you can see here. So each module has associated tasks. For example, the digitize module consists of you have capture, scan, extract, classify, store, archive, retrieve, dispose. So all this is all the tasks and its purposes can be achieved using the ECM platform, which is the enterprise content management platform that we already told about. Similarly, Newgen's BPM platform, which helps in fulfilling all tasks associated with the process module, that is design, build, deploy, collaborate, are some of the tasks which would be ideal for anyone using a BPM platform. Emphasizing on the case management platform, the tasks in the adapt module are associated such that it helps dealing with dynamic task allocation. Engage functional module helps an organization to decide on the form of communication. This highly relates to customer experience and calling the other third-party applications to send customer mailers or brochures or pamphlets. So the customer communication management is Newgen's platform, which handles this task. Also, as part of the transformation enablers, our platform suite has added capabilities and works very well with RPA offerings, mobility, clouds, analytics, and digital sensing to make the solution fulfill the business needs that of today. So now let's move to the invoicing part. I'll just quickly go through the flow of the whole process of invoicing, where it starts, what the government's part is, how the buyer can handle it, and then we can move to the flow and demo. The process starts with the seller, who when generates an invoice or a credit note or a debit note, now must convert it to JSON format. So to do this, the format and schema as the government has already list, and once the seller already has a JSON, they can either choose an service provider like GSP, who has direct API connections with the IRP, integrated with the IRP, and send the JSON request, or the government has also enabled a manual portal from where the JSON can be uploaded manually to IRP. The IRP stands for Invoice Registration Portal, which is set up by the government and handled by NIC. The IRP receives the JSON, it authenticates the seller, and then tries to validate the content of the invoice. It does the basic dedupe check with the EC system, identifies the duplicate invoice, and other validations of the values and the data as part of the invoice. So if the JSON is validated, if the IRP is finding the JSON to be valid one, then two things happen. So one is that it generates a digitally signed response along with a digitally signed QR. okay, and sends it to the seller who has a seller. The other thing is, it's secondly, it seems the data which just got validated with the GST portal, and it updates the annexure 1 of the seller, which in turn updates the annexure 2 of the buyer, and the EVA bill will also get updated. So once seller is receiving all this data, see, he will also receive the IRN number, which is again generated by the IRP. IRN number is a 64-digit encrypted unique number, which is unique for each invoice, and it is what is going to make the invoice a legal document from last October. This is not something, it's not a human recognizable character. It's encrypted and it will be jumbled. Secondly, so once the seller is receiving all the data, they can either send the JSON, which we call the e-invoice, directly to the buyer, or the seller can send a physical or a PDF invoice, which they normally do, but now mandatorily they have to affix the QR part, right, on the invoice copy. So from the buyer's side, if they receive the JSON or invoice, it can be directly, it will be in an encrypted format, so that has to be decrypted, and all the invoice header, line item details, etc., can be captured from there and populated in the workflow fields. If they receive a physical or a PDF invoice with the QR image on it, then the QR can also be authenticated with the digital signature and decrypted, and also the data from the QR can also be extracted. Now, as I said that we have to add QR or the invoice, so let me get little more detail into that. So we have the standard invoice which the seller normally used to sell before this invoicing, but now they have to mandatorily add a QR. Right. So let me just open it up and show you how the invoice, so that you get an idea of the same. So this particular invoice I have downloaded directly from the government portal. So the body of the invoice can be however the seller wants it, but the important point is the QR must be added to it. It is not mandatory that this has to be the only QR. There can be more than one QR in the invoice body also. The second part, the JSON invoice. So this is completely in a machine readable format. So if you see, it has some key details like the IR on it. Then it has the signed invoice. This part is completely encrypted. It has to be decrypted before consuming. And then finally, it has the it has the signed QR also. So this particular string, which I am highlighting here, this is what the seller will directly convert in a QR image format. And you saw in the PDF invoice, they'll attach it as a QR image. So a short note on QR. So what I put this slide because we have been implementing the solution a couple of our clients, and what we have seen is the most major traffic that we are getting is of invoice with QRs only currently. There is a little bit confusion on how the JSON is being handled. So a lot of sellers are not selling the JSON or invoice directly. So current traffic which we are seeing is highly of invoice with the QR code. So a short note on that. So first, as I said, the supplier will receive the signed QR, and the string which I showed in the last the text file, the JSON file will be received upon successful validation from IRP. The supplier can do two things. They can directly convert the string into a QR image and add it to the invoice they are sending to the buyer, or they can directly use the invoice which is available in the government portal, which is generated for each IRN generated. It is by default available, but this has to be, someone has to log into the portal, manually download these invoices, and then they can send it individually. So buyer, so this QR, the string which is part of the QR image, the buyer can read the QR and get that string. Then it is still encrypted, so that has to be decrypted. So for decrypting that, government has supplied a public key with which the decryption can be done. Once the decryption is done, that means the signature has been validated. These fields of the QR can be accessible to the buyer. So these are basic data like the GST of supplier who is sending, of the recipient, the document number, their invoice, credit note, debit note, the date of generation of the document, the gross value and the base value of the invoice, the number of line items. So the total number of line items that is available in the invoice, not the individual line items won't be there, only the number of line items, and the HSN of the most value line item. And more importantly, it will also contain IRN and the IRN date in the QR data itself. So this is a static data that is being supplied by the government as a I guess, a placeholder for till the invoice is completely established. So with this QR, it can be buyer can attest the source of the invoice, that the particular supplier has registered this with the government and has given authentic invoice to you, right? So before I move to the flow of AP accounts payable solution with the invoicing part, I just want to ask a few questions that you can ask yourself about how you are currently handling your accounts payable or e-invoicing solution. So does your current AP system enable consistency across the enterprise? Is this something that is in line with all the other solution transformation, the digital transformations strategy of your enterprise? Does it is it easily changeable? Is it how is the change management in it? Is it able to handle any government mandates or compliant mandates that comes up with ease? Does it improve your business agility? Does it increase your operational responsiveness? Is it scalable, right? And is it an anytime anywhere accessible business, right? Now I will move to the invoice processing framework, and where I'll explain what our AP solution is about and how in that we are handling the invoice. So now let us get familiarized with the invoice processing framework. This framework, we also call it as accelerator. It's an out-of-the-box solution which is 70 to 80% ready to go, and can be deployed within a short period of months, like 4 or 5 months, as compared to a ground-up solution. So this accelerator we have built with our 20 plus years of experience that we have in implementing invoice processing solutions across the board. We have built this on our low-code automation platform, that is IVPS, which I already told you about, which has excellent ability to manage the processes, content, and communication together. It has excellent integration capability where we can integrate with most ERPs like SAP, Oracle, Dynamics, Epicor, Sun, and many other ERPs. It also comes with a seamless ecosystem, alerts, notifications, real-time dashboard capabilities, which can be accessed across devices, mobile phones, tablets, etc. Well, let us begin with the flow. So we start with the initiation step. It can handle any channel initiation, be it email, direct by FTP upload. We also have a lightweight vendor portal from where vendor can create an account and submit invoices, track the invoices for payment, etc. We also, in case of if you receive physical invoices, we have our OmniScan solution, which is our scanning solution, which converts paper invoices into a digital format with image enhancing ability. It has image quality enhancing abilities as well, right? So next we have our extraction, where we extract the critical data right out of the invoice. The solution we use is called OmniExtract, which is again a homegrown solution. This is an OCR based intelligent extraction solution which works based on global and local libraries. So it can extract header and line level data also, and it supports multi-engine extraction. So basically OmniExtract works based on OCR engines like Tesseract, Cadmos, Google Vision, etc. So our OmniExtract can have multiple OCR engines running simultaneously, extracting data and returning the confidence level. So what the intelligent extraction engine will then identify which engine has returned the highest confidence level for a particular field, and that data will get captured. Next is the verification and validation. So we support the solution supports image assisted data correction, where we highlight exactly from where in the invoice image the data was extracted, and also we color code the fields which are extracted based on the confidence level returned by the engine. So for the particular field is highlighted green, that means the confidence level is above 90%. If it is less than maybe 80%, it will be highlighted in orange or red. So it helps the user to concentrate on the fields which he has to look at first. So user will be able to make correction faster and with more accuracy with this. So the system also has an inbuilt validations of three-way matching, where we match the PO, GRN. We can fetch the PO, GRN data directly from the ERPs based on the integration. If it is web services, APIs, or flat file RPA based, we can fetch the PO details directly from the ERP, and with the GRN data. We also check for duplicate invoices with the duplicate check logic, and we also have the exception handling. Users can raise exceptions and queries internally or directly to vendors as well, and every exception is tagged and tracked across the system. We also have an approval system inbuilt, which works on a delegation of authority matrix, and approvers can, approve, reject, raise exception, etc. Either by logging into the system, or they can do it straight away from emails or SMS as well. Finally, we have the parking and posting part, where user can, have the final check of the data, add any withholding tax, etc., and park the invoice, get the reference document number for it, and post it. You can also invoke the ERP screens directly into our solution to do a silent posting, get the reference, FI document number. Once posted, it goes for payment run, and wherever the payment is happening, either in ERP or your payment solutions, once the payment is complete, we get back a reference for that and move it for archival. And there is also the image enablement. What image enablement does is, once the work item is archived, you have an ERP, you want to access that image, you do not have to log into our solution every time to access the image. We can enable a link in the underlying ERP from where you can directly access the invoice image or any supporting documents that are available for the transaction. Now, if you remember, as I already said, this solution is out of the box 70 to 80% ready. The remaining, we call it gaps, the gaps which are nothing but personalizations, which are some business fields, or which you as a client would require to add. The look and feel, the color, the themes, etc., can be modified. Then comes integration. That depends on the ERPs you use, the instances. If you have more than one ERP, what kind of integration can be done? As I said, we can do web APIs based, flat file based integration, RPA based integration as well. We do have a license for SAP integrations and some other ERPs as well. And we finally do a standardization as well, where as a single process for near equivalent business processes. So this is the basic flow of how our AP solution works. Now let's see what we've added to this, so it can handle the e-invoicing as well in a touchless manner, right? So first we have this. I have the flow here, where we have either invoice or credit note or debit note. Then we receive, capture, validate, approve, park, post, and pay and archive at the end. So the invoices, now we have two more new types. So first, the standard invoice, which is your normal invoice you keep receiving before the invoicing. Then there is an option of receiving invoice with the QR, which is actually a mandate now. And then the final option of receiving the JSON file as is. So to receive, we have the email option, where we can configure a particular email ID to receive all invoices, identify if it is an invoice or some other document, do the classification, and introduce directly into the workflow, do the work allocation, etc. Then we have a file transfer protocol based upload, where we can set up a single FTP where invoices can be pushed and directly introduced into workflow. And as I said, we have a lightweight vendor portal, which I will be showing in the demo. So vendors can use this to create their individual accounts and submit invoices. And in case of physical invoices, which is except the case of JSON, which cannot be sent physically, we have this OmniScan solution, which can scan the image and introduce directly. Now, once we receive, we capture with OCR. As I said, the key data from the invoice, even with the invoice of the QR, the header, line item details are extracted with the OCR engine, Omni Extract. And then for the purpose of handling e-invoice with the QR and the JSON part, we have added a QR reader, which works exclusively out of the OmniAction system. So if you get an invoice with a QR, even if there are more than one QR in that particular invoice, the QR reader will identify which is the e-invoicing QR or the IRP QR and read that alone. And the JSON parser is built to handle that encrypted data from the QR or from the JSON invoice as well. So it will read the QR, it will start the decryption. Next, in validation, we have the IRP signature validation. So when the IRP is actually validating and signing the JSON data, sending it back to seller, they do the signing part with a private key which the government owns. The subsequent public key for that particular private key is available publicly, and we have integrated it directly into the solution. So as and when an invoice with a QR or JSON is coming, it will check for the public key private key match, and only if it is a match, it will do the decryption. So we will get a field saying the signature is valid, and this is the data out of the QR or this is the data out of the JSON that we have received, and then the invoice validation happens. And then, as I said, we have direct integration with ERP to push and pull PO data. We can also push the captured IRM data directly into the ERP based on the field availability in the ERP as well. And then we And yeah, just to highlight, so reiterate and highlight, we have the for invoicing we have the capability of to take in invoice with QR or the JSON directly. We have built the QR reader to serve the invoice with QR specifically. It can handle multiple QR successful. It will choose the right one. And in case of JSON, we have built the JSON parser which will handle the JSON invoices, and the signature part also is handled. And for approval, we have the delegation of authority based system where based on the threshold levels of invoice or the cost center, profit center selected, the approvers are selected based on the masters we can maintain, and approvers can do their work. They can approve, reject, or raise exceptions. Then we have the two-way, three-way multi-match, which happens in the parking stage. So in here, what we are doing is exactly we are matching the PO and GRN, then we are matching PO with the invoice data, and only if it is matching all three ways, we allow the submission of the invoice. And once the user finds all the data to be valid, they can then push it to the ERP for payment. And once payment is done, we move it for archival, and image enablement is made available. So with all this is built on our low-code platform. It comes with an inbuilt end-to-end audit where you can see who has logged in when, what action they have exactly performed, how long they were handling that particular transaction, system tags, etc. All can be set. Exceptions handled with the exception module. We also have a real-time dashboard, a module called Business Activity Monitor, where you can configure dashboards to monitor your transactions. So let us move to the demo of the invoice processing with invoicing handle part. I'll show you how everything works for the invoicing, and then I'll talk about the outbound part. Let me initiate. So let me initiate some invoices from email first. So we have an email configured to handle our invoices currently. So I'll initiate invoices from there. So I have two samples of invoice. One is a normal invoice with the QR, and one is a JSON invoice. The one which I showed already is in the machine readable format. I will use that as well. So along with handling incoming emails and introducing into workflow, we also capture the body and subject body of the invoice as well. So suppose the supplier is sending a comment with this and the body, you don't have to open the email box and check that. That will automatically appear in the workflow. So let me just initiate this. Now I'll walk you through the vendor portal initiation as well. So this is the login screen of our vendor portal. Of course, this can be modified as per the business standards that anyone follows. We also have an option here for a new vendor registration. So a new vendor walks in, a vendor onboarding can be initiated from here, or an existing vendor who wishes to create a vendor portal account can also create with this option. Let me just log in here. So refresh this. Let me log in. So this is the landing page of the vendor portal. Directly lands to a dashboard view where we have currently configured 3 dashboards here to have vendor and overview of what his status stance is with the company. Any different kind of dashboard can also be configured. This is again powered by BAM, the Business Activity Monitor. So first we have the invoice status pie chart where the vendor can easily see the count of invoices that has been paid till now, what has been rejected, and what is how many are in progress. If they want more details, they can easily move on to the right side where we have an invoice detail status, where we can easily see how much invoices are in progress in count, how much money is stuck at that, and also it is bifurcated based on currency, so they can also see in INR how much money is stuck, in USD how much money is there. And for invoice rejected, we also have the table here where user can see the exact transaction number of maybe of the workflow, the invoice number they are raised, and also the reason it got rejected. All those details can be seen, and these reports can also be downloaded from right here. and can be shared outside also. Next, I'll move to the My PO tab. So the My PO tab shows the open POs against this vendor directly from the ERP. So this is integrated with the ERP or the underlying system, and any POs that is open against this particular vendor can be made to reflect here. So by flipping PO, what we are doing is the vendor is simply opening this, and he can charge quantities from here based on how much spending and what line item he wants to charge this time, and we can simply flip it. So let me just show that. So they can input their invoice number in the invoice date, the currency they are charging, and they can also add a document that they want to uh, they can also add the invoice document. Then we you can see here the line items of the from the ERP for the particular PO is available here. It shows the PO open quantity, how much are billed and now, and what is pending. So vendor can easily simply choose how much they are billing as part of this invoice. Then all the calculations are automated. They don't have to do anything. And in case the tax details are not pre agreed upon, or sorry, it's not coming as part of the ERP, they can also charge it right here, and that calculation is also done automatically. And then we have the self declaration. The purpose is that once as the data is sourced majorly from the ERP, we consider this to be authentic data. So and we are giving this option for the vendor to confirm that he's also entering the right data from here, so that the particular transaction will skip the verification part, and it goes to parking stage, so that as the data is sourced from our own ERP, we can have more confidence in that. So click on flip, and we have the transaction generated right here. So this will again directly reflect into the IBPS. It goes for extraction and post to IBPS. Let me close this and show both in the other tabs. So we have submit invoice. So for POs which are not appearing in MyTO tabs, or if the vendor wants to submit a non-PO invoice, so they can enter the details here on their own. They can enter the invoice number. So all this data are stored from the masters. Any mode addresses can also be added easily, and see details. They can select type of invoice. So if it is a PO and it is not available in the My PO page, they can select PO and enter the data here. Or if it's a non-PO, they can easily select non-PO. We also have added the field for capturing the IRN. If they have the IRN, they can add it here. We'll do a double check of if they are adding the right IRN. Otherwise, as is our solution will directly read the QR or the JSON and capture the IRN details directly. The payment status, so let's put the data. And I can again attach. We have arrived at the document checklist. I will attach the invoice, and if there are any supporting documents that can also be attached, and I can easily just submit it here. And again we have a transaction number generated. Now if the vendor wants to track all these invoices, all he has to do is they can they can go to My Invoices, and they can see the recent 2 invoices have already appeared here. We have the status also. If there is a null error, they can directly contact the supplier asking what is the issue, and we can see the PO flip which I did directly mode for parking. So all these they can track right here, and in case they want to track a particular invoice or between dates, the filter option is also available. For communication between vendors and buyers, we have the My Queries and Submit Query option, where any queries, as I said, can be raised in the workflow, will reflect here. If based on status, if it is open, the user can easily open it up, view his comments, and close it. And if the vendor themselves want to submit a query, they can do it from right here based on the invoice number or PO number, etc. They can raise it. Then we have the My Reports option, where again, as I said, they can track all the invoice details, how much amount is spending, what is spending. And additionally, we can have them download the reports in PDF or Excel formats, which will have more details in a graphical format for them to understand their status. So let me log into IBPS. This is the workflow solution that we low-code platform solution that I talked about earlier. Now log in as a verification user. So as I was walking you through the vendor portal, etc., in the back end, the verification of the invoice, extraction, verification of the invoice, and signature validation all would have happened. Let me log in here. Let me just refresh this page. Sorry. So I have landed in the verification users workspace. So this is a dynamic workspace where we can configure charts or pie donut charts, pie charts as required for the user to be familiar with. So for example, in this case, we can see the e-invoice status, donut chart for e-invoices, where they can see how many of the invoices totally received have been e-invoices, 106, which have all come with valid signatures, which have failed the signature validation. We have a donut chart for total invoices and what are the types, if there's non-PO, PO, a credit note, debit note, that can be monitored, source of initiation, emails or scans, which source of initiation is more preferred, can all be tracked here, and any other different data that you want to publish here can be configured very easily. Right, so let me go here to the left. We have all the queues available here, which has been assigned to this particular user, and they can easily add a favorite and remove from favorite. I have the verification queue set up here, and alternatively, user can also simply click on the particular uh, uh, donut chart, the part of the donut chart. They can see what invoices have come. You get the work item number, what queue it is in the invoice number, the IRN which is extracted from the invoice, and the signature status. Right. So let me let me go to the verification queue, and I'll open this transaction. So this is an accounts payable users work view. So you have the audit details on top. We have the login, who was logged in, the transaction number, the mail initiated by person, date, etc. All details are captured. We have the invoice copy right here on the right hand side, which is gone through our extraction engine. And here we can see the header details. So first you have the PO number here, and you can see the field is highlighted green. So this means the particular field has an extraction confidence level above 90% that we have configured. So I'll just click on this. So we also get this image assistance where it shows that this is a particular area from where this particular data has been extracted, and it's also zoomed, so user can double verify it. So 4645, 4645, and this many zeros. So that they can have double confidence. And as I already said that there are multiple engines running. So in this particular demo, we have two engines, OCR engines running, that is Tesseract and Cadmos. So we have both the output of both the engines showing here. So this also again helps in the user to do the corrections. If suppose one of the engine is extracted wrongly, but that data got displayed, or the other engine is extracted correctly, they can easily instead of deleting and typing, they can easily click and do the change. Now coming down, we have the e-invoice part. So we have the IRN data, which was again extracted directly from the invoice in this case, right? And we have the signature status field. So this is showing valid signature, which means that the QR has the public key of the government has matched with this particular QR, and the data was extracted successfully. So to check on the data from the QR, you can simply select this, and it opens up the IRP QR data field, where on the right hand side we have the QR data. So if you remember, I already showed you the QR has 9 sets of data, but for the purpose of AP processing, we have chosen these 5 fields alone for data matching and validation purpose. If you feel there is more data from the QR that can be used in the process, that can be easily arranged for, because once the signature is validated, data is available then and there, right? And on the left hand, we have the list of extracted data. So in this particular scenario, we are directly comparing the data which was extracted by the OCR engine from the invoice and the data which was found in the QR, which is attested by the government. So here, as is, it is trying to match the data from the QR with the extracted data, and in case of mismatch, it highlights it with the red. So if you see here, there is a mismatch, that the GSTN number, which is actually a part of the QR, or what the government is saying is this is the GSTN number of the supplier who was sent, but in the invoice, if you see, the tax details, if you see the invoice actually is showing that the GST number is this one. So this here is a red flag which the AP user can directly raise to the vendor. So to do that, they just simply have to click data mismatch, and you get the pop-up and also the reason data mismatch with GST data and comment. And once they submit it, the email will be triggered to the vendor in case they are don't have vendor portal, and all the emails. Let me show this part also. Yeah. So the emails can also be captured in the document list. All the communications are captured right here and can be responded to from right here. So why we are doing this matching is that so we are considering the data given by the government to be the right one because it is registered and verified by government. But to identify if the supplier is also supplying the right data of the invoice, we are doing this check. Right. So for the purpose of the demo, let us just simply copy that. And again, in case you find that the data in the invoice is right, but it has been extracted from the wrong area or the wrong impartial, incomplete data was extracted, again, you can simply correct that by clicking this button. And if you go there, you can see it has been updated on its own. Right. So this is basically about how we are matching the invoice data with the pure data. Now I'll walk you through the other validations. So we have the PO number for this invoice. So I will simply do the get PO. And we can see all the data which is related registered with this PO has been fetched from the ERP. So we have the vendor name now, we have the business group, entity name, finance department, nature of service, etc. all got captured. And we also have some value added fields like the vendor STP rate. So this is again to inform the user to show the quality of the vendor. So this vendor has a 100% STP rate, meaning all the invoices he has sent till now have been processed directly without any exceptions or hiccups. I'll also turn on this toggle this hard copy received field because some countries, some regions have the law that we cannot process payment for invoices without receiving the hard copy. Going down, we have this last 5 transactions. Again, this is a value add on as part of informed decision making for the AP user. So they can simply view the status of the last 5 transactions this vendor has raised, and based on the status, they can make a call. Like for example, if all of them have been stuck at exception for some reason, and the reason is known, then user can maybe avoid processing this, wasting more time, or raise it to the supervisor or something. This is just for information purpose. And then we have the details tab, starting with the PO details. So this all these details are fetched from the ERP. So we have the PO amount tab where we have the original PO amount, following which the open PO amount is also available. It is also fetching the GRN details which have been linked with this particular PO. So GRN PO match has happened. All the details of the PO, GL description linked all all fetched. If there are more POs, the user more POs than which is what is being charged in the invoice, user can simply click the unnecessary PO line items and remove them for now. And moving to the invoice details tab, so we have again we extracted data like the invoice number is extracted both engines. We have the gross value extracted, date, and you can see the line item is also extracted. So we have in the line items we don't have the value of SN number, HSNAC, UM. The remaining values have been extracted and populated, and the total is also here. Now, in case you find that some extraction has not happened for a particular field, and even the multi-engine support is not coming up, so we have an option of online extraction as well. So simply the user can click on the whatever field they want data to be extracted, and they have to once they identify in the image where exactly the data is, they can simply use this dynamic zone option, draw the zone around the invoice number or whatever the data they want to extract, and we get this pop-up. Right, so we can select the right data, and we can either directly extract or we can also create a rule. So what this means is for this particular vendor, a local rule will be created, and going forward, look for the particular invoice number in this particular coordinates. Right, so let me just click on extract, and we have the data coming up right here. Now going down, we have this actions tab where the user can simply submit the invoice. They can give the comment, submit the invoice. They can reject it based on after selecting valid rejection reason, which is again populated from the masters. Then they have query reason, then also query to vendor. So for query and query to vendor, so for query, once the query is raised, it goes to a query work step where the the respective query user can open process the request based on the again query reasons which have been selected. So it is again getting more narrow to identify the issue and solve it. And query to vendor, again, as I said, an email or a request to vendor portal will be raised and can be communicated from right here. Let me now just try to submit the invoice and let's see what happens. Yeah, so we have been tagged blocked because the invoice has been identified as duplicate. So the invoice duplicate check is happening on the back end. How it is happening is for the particular vendor, we are trying to match the invoice number, the vendor code, the invoice date, and the invoice amount. If all of them are a match, then it is a hard stop. You cannot submit. The vendor will not, the user will not be allowed to stop the to submit the invoice. Otherwise, if it is a only two out of three fields are matched, then it's a partial match. You can submit it with a warning. No, this is an exact match, and for the purpose of demo, let me just modify this, and I'll try submitting now. Yeah, so transaction is submitted, and you can see it's actually automatically moving to the next transaction from the screen itself. So let us actually track the invoice which we are dealing with. We also have the quick search option where user can track where exactly we have raised the invoice. So I submitted it for as a query to vendor, and it got pushed through being a query to vendor. So let me open this up. Sorry, I think I submitted with the query option. Let me submit as a normal submission. No field to effect search. So I guess that's the refresh issue. Let me just log out from here and log back in as a parking user. So we can have a master user also set up where all transactions can be handled in one place, or separate users or separate transactions can also be created. This field we call the user desktop, which is a more simplistic view compared to the user workspace, which you saw earlier in the verification user. This deals with simpler, simpler. It deals with a very simpler view, which has the queue list on one side and the transactions coming up on the right hand side. Let me open up the AP parking queue. So if you see, we have the PO flip invoice which we initiated from the invoice vendor portal. They are directly appearing here instead of the verification stage. So let me open them up. Just a second. Sorry about the delay. So in the parking stage, we have the three-way matching being set up, where the PO some of the PO amount is going to be checked with the gross invoice amount. If this is a direct match, it's a complete match, then we will check the sum of the gross invoice with the sum of the line items that has been captured and calculated. If that is also not matching, we check the line item sum item with the base value that got extracted. So we do this to verify, because in some vendors they do not have the tax details added in the line items. So that also gets processed from right there. So, and just a second. Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. So let me continue with the posting stage. Right. So from the posting stage, we can easily pull up the ERP screen if there is configured. So current in the demo environment, we do not have an ERP configured. So in the live, we can pull up a pull up the ERP screen and do a silent posting. Right? And if you move on the payment details, the parking details, the payment reference number will all be captured right here. Once the payment and parking is done, the reference MM document number, the FI document number are captured right here. So let me now try to submit this. So we have system inbuilt validations to check on why the parking date or the data are not done. We do not allow the user to submit it for archival. Right. So this was a normal PO invoice. So let me show. Let us see what happened to the JSON or the invoice which we initiated. Let me log back as a verification user. Yeah. So now I'll simply click on this valid invoices and identify which one JSON might be. So I'll open this up. So this is a JSON file that is that comes in a .json format, and it is directly goes to the JSON parser, which will again as I said, validate the signature, and only if the signature is valid, it will do the decryption. So this particular invoice was non-PO. There was no PO data in that, so it comes out as a non-PO. Simply do the verification part, and if we can see that in the invoice details and the line items also, it got extracted directly from the JSON file itself. Right. So the ideal way, once the once all suppliers, or once the once sending of JSON becomes the norm, it will be easier to extract data with more higher accuracy and ease from the particular invoice data file as well. Again, this part again we can check the QR and JSON data just to be sure if it is right or wrong. 90% could be right, and all other data also you can see has been captured. And again, it goes for the same parking, posting, submission part. Now, if you remember, I said at the beginning that the QR reading and the JSON extraction part is built separately outside the extraction Omni extract solution. So let me quickly, and also I said that multiple QRs can also be handled. So let me quickly disable the Omni extract part from the admin module. So we can easily just disable Omni extract. So we have this OX enabled. I have marked it as no. So I just as easily as that, I just change the flow of the invoice processing. Now invoices will not go for extraction; it will directly for the uh, uh, come for the workflow. So let me initiate one more invoice sample. So I have this invoice with multiple QRs. Let me show that as well. This particular QR invoice, we have three QRs. One is the right one, IRP QR. Then we have other payment details, content details QR, which is a part of that. Let me add this. And save. We also have this advanced search option where we can simply, uh, uh, create a filter based on which we can, which we normally use to search invoices, etc. So I have this already created for AP process alone, and for all queue and all work step, and I can simply search and close. So with the new transaction which I just initiated, got initiated, we can see directly went to JSON data extraction work step. We'll give it a minute to give it a few seconds to process. Yeah, it has gone to verification. Let me quickly open this up. So out of these three QRs, the solution was the QR reader and the JSON parser was rightly able to identify the right QR, and it has we can see that from the valid signature status and the IRN has been extracted. We can go. So this did not go to Omni extract, right? So all the other data will not have been extracted, but with the help of the QR data, we can populate all the other fields simply by using the copy function, and we can click on validate. And if we go to other fields, we can see the data has been populated. The invoice number, the gross invoice from the QR has been pushed to the fields directly. Now let us so this was about the AP invoice processing part with the invoicing handling demo. Now let us go back to the presentation, and I can talk more about the outbound invoice generation part as well. Oh, sorry. Now for the invoice generation, the government has already released tools to manually generate JSON, upload them manually to the IRP. And alternatively, there are also a lot of GSPs and some ERPs as well, like SAP Oracle, with direct integration available with IRP. But if you are averse about GSPs or not willing to work with GSPs, or you don't have the latest ERP which directly integrates with the ERP to generate the IRN and JSON, we do have a touchless solution which I will just walk you through. So this is a standard invoice generation process for getting the invoicing. You can generate your delivery dispatch note, you generate your invoice normally, you print it and send it to the buyer. But what we are proposing, and what we have actually implemented in our own company, is this touchless process where your current invoice generating user will not have to do anything new. They will work as is. They will not be subjected to any new screens or anything. They will simply generate their invoice, and in the back end the data will be fetched from the ERP or underlying system. From a staging table, we store the data, and we can generate the JSON based on the configurations or based on the schema that the government has suggested. And post that, we encrypt this data, encrypt this JSON data, and submit it to IRP. IRP will do the authentication, validation, and generate the response, which again we will receive the response. We will get our we will decrypt the response when we will get the data out. We analyze that what the response is. If it is successful, that meaning you will get the IRN details, you will get the signed QR. All this will be updated back to the underlying system, and the QR string, if you are still wanting to print the invoice, can be directly converted into a QR image and sent, so that they can be added to the invoice being sent out. Or if the option is to send the JSON itself directly, that can also be configured with the if the email ID or the other way of sending the invoices are available with the solution. In case of errors, the government has defined all the error codes and error descriptions that can be captured and populated back to the system, and based on that, we can the corrections can be made, and we can try to reshoot the invoice to the IRP again. So before we finish, just to brief on what currently where the invoicing mandate is and what it could be. So currently there are no APIs or directly available for the buyers to receive the invoice. This was something in the initial stages of the mandate was talked about, but currently the only way for the buyer to validate is either by logging on to the GSTR2A and validating the IRP details there, or if you receive the JSON or the QR, you can validate via that. And also the government is planning to extend this invoicing to all B2B companies by April. This again is we'll know we'll come to know when it comes across, but now it is 100% plus, and they're trying to push it for all B2B companies in India. So what is the advantage of using Newgen's invoice processing or data, and the way the strategy we choose to validate with QR or JSON. So it leads to faster and better processing. You now have an additional level of authentication you're getting with this QR codes or JSONs, the signature part which we are validating for, will be validating for each invoice. So this will prevent errors and losses, and also fraud invoices will be automatically detected, because if the signature fails, it is considered a fraud and it will be flagged in the user screen, suggesting they don't process that. So this will also enhance your compliance state. You will be in line with the government standards of working. You also, as I said, you get the government verified data, because signature means it is government verified. It will also improve your customer supplier relationship, and hopefully shorten payment cycles. So that's all from my side. So Ruchika, I guess we can take up some questions from now on.
Sure. Just give me a minute. Okay. The first question for you for today is how to capture the invoice acceptance response from the buyer.
Invoice acceptance response from the buyer.
Is there a provision for that?
So that's where we are suggesting the vendor portal. So if you are part of the vendor portal or the buyers network, whenever you are raising the invoice, you get the live status of where they are, what the status of the invoice is, who is processing, what state it is in, it is going to be payment, is there any exception, all can be tracked if you are part of the vendor portal.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
The second question is, does the solution have a process or a step wherein it can improve the quality of the invoice or reduce the reduce noise in the invoice image, or does it just go to the exception queue?
No. So our OmniExtract solution or OmniScan solution, which deals with this document quality enhancement part, we can clear up the noise in the image. We can enhance the image brightness. We can deskew it if it is upside down, straighten it up, brighten it up. All those document quality management is all inbuilt as part of our OmniScan and OmniExtract solution. They do it normally. And but we do have some guidelines as well, like we cannot we say that the invoice copy has to be clean in the sense that you do not have stamps or handwriting overwritten with the data which has to be extracted, which will lead to difficulty. And do not we have that for dot matrix printers there is an issue with accuracy. But yeah, we do have the technology and capability to enhance the image before processing it. It is not that it will be directly rerouted to exception.
Okay. The next question is, how is the supplier portal linked to the ERP? Is there a difference in the PO value or quantity, or will that be automatically taken care of?
That is automatically taken care of. So the integration that depends on the ERP and the type of integration we are doing. It is web API means it will be a real-time integration. So in that case, you have the data getting updated in the ERP. It will be directly updated on the vendor portal as well, vendor or supplier portal as well. So when the supplier is the vendor is entering data and claiming that they are charging for this many quantities this time, they will push and submit the invoice. Once the invoice is processed and the GR and PO is matched, that data will also get updated in the ERP once you are doing the matching there. So that is maintained there. Yeah.
Okay. The IRP signature validation is done through a public key, or is it part of the solution? Does it also validate pushing data to the government website? This was a question that came.
Yeah, so the public key is a downloadable file. It is basically just a signature file that we have integrated with our solution. This works completely offline. So there is no direct integration with the GST system, which is actually not necessary because they are signing with the private key and they have supplied the public key for that, which will work with each other only. So we have integrated that as part of our solution itself. And all this verification, IRP validation is happening in the backend. The user will just see the signature status and they can do the further process.
Okay. And you mentioned somewhere that it is 70 to 80% of a solution. Is there something that is lacking in the solution?
No, that is not the point. So the solution, as I said, is built based on 20 plus years of our experience in this accounts payable, right? The remaining lacking part, or what you call the lacking part, is the personalization. That is nothing but if we are coming to you to set up in your company, you will have a way, you will want it to look a certain way. You will want additional fields. You may not want some fields that we have. So that is a personalization discussion we'll have. Then integration, like what kind of integration is capable? Can we do a real-time integration? How many ERPs do you want to integrate with? How many third party, is there any third party applications that you want to integrate with? All those setups are the 20% gap that we see. So that this is why we can say we can implement in a very fast manner because it is already 70 to 80% ready. Most of the baseline requirements of invoice processing are known to us, and based on that we have created the solution. The rest 20-30 is based on what the client requirement is based on. Yeah, based on the client requirement. Yeah.
Great, great. I have just one last question because we are running out of time.
Okay.
Many ERP systems are not saving the JSON file. Also, there are some GSP service provider that unable to provide JSON file. How will you deal with that?
So this is a relevant problem currently with this invoicing mandate itself. So to deal with the JSON file, we are, as I already said, we are in the real world where we are implementing the solution. We are seeing 90 to 100% of the vendors or suppliers sending invoice with QR. So that is why we have developed the solution in such a way that it is currently handling QRs, single QR, multiple QR, which is also majorly it is authenticating the source of the invoice, that is it has been sent from the government, right, and extracting a standard set of data which is available in that, right, which is not the expected result of invoicing, that I understand. And then we are validating with the QR for now, but the solution with the JSON parser part which I showed is also ready to handle the JSONs when the government is ready to make an API available where buyers can also directly get the JSON. We can directly handle that as well. So we are future proof, and we are working. We are ready for this, ready for the what the current standards situation as well. So we are handling QR. We'll be ready to handle JSON.
Great, Gopi. Thanks a lot for all the valuable insights and the comprehensive presentation that you shared. Thank you to the entire audience for your valuable time and tremendous response and all the patience. We shall be sending across the presentation and the transcript for all the questions to you. Goodbye and have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a great day.